Well, my ATOTO A6 Pro just arrived today. This is the 2018 model. What's new about this one is physical buttons and gesture controls and a new IPS screen. Hang on a second, we'll get this thing unboxed and I'll start taking a look at it, and then I'll bring in my old 2017 A6 model and do a quick comparison. And then we'll get this thing installed in the car. Okay, here's a quick look at everything that comes in the box. You've got a trim plate for some mounting kits that may be a little wider than the standard US double-din spec. I won't need it in my car, but it's nice that they include this. You've got your wiring harness. This plugs in the back of the unit. Everything is clearly labeled. This is actually pretty easy to install once you know what you're doing, and as long as you have a aftermarket harness, so you don't have to cut your factory harness up in your car. This looks very similar to the one that came in the old model, but I think the pinout's a little bit different, so I'm going to switch these out. That's no big deal. You got your manual and warranty information. In the package, it includes two screen protectors. There's a clear screen protector and a frosted low glare screen protector. I'm not sure which one of these, if either, I'm going to use, but it's nice that they include them once again. Your external microphone. The unit has an onboard microphone, which I'll show you in a minute, but this works pretty well. This looks like identical to the one that shipped in the older unit I have, and this has been pretty good for me, so I'll probably keep that old one in place if the connections are the same, which I think they are, and keep this as a backup. Mounting hardware. You may or may not need this depending on your vehicle, but it does provide the screws, which is nice. Good to have. Wi-Fi antenna. This looks different than the one I had before. The connection in is different. Instead of being a little mini coax screw-in type, this is a plug-in, and it has a clear wire. Looks like a solid copper inside, and ATOTO claims it has better performance. I'll definitely be replacing my old antenna with this one, mainly because the connector is different, and I want the better performance. GPS antenna also has a different connector than the old unit. You notice there it's another quick plug. Actually, it's kind of nice because the old units were kind of fiddly to get those little coax cables threaded in and oriented correctly. So I'll be replacing this. The actual antenna portion looks to be the same though. And then there's a dual USB wire. The old unit had 3 USB ports on the back, and they both, 2 of them like this with a modular connector, and then another one with a small modular connector with a single USB. On the new unit, which I'll show you here in a minute once I get it completely out of the box, there are still 3 USB ports on the back, but one of them is a standard USB Type A, so use any cable you'd like. Okay, let's get the unit out. Okay, here's the actual unit. Just something to be aware of when it comes to it's very well packaged, as good as any name brand stereo I've ever unpackaged, so shouldn't be too much worry about getting damaged in shipment. But it does not come with, unlike the older model, it does not come with a screen protector on it already, a little shipping screen protector. So be very careful with this when you're installing it. But either put the supplied screen protectors on or cover it with a rag. These are nice panels, but they can scratch. Even a little bit of sand, which is harder than glass, can do a number on these. So be really careful with these. The actual chassis. So now we've got the micro button where it always was. SD card slot is moved up, and it's actually got a little notch in it, so it makes it easier to get SD cards in and out. A front panel aux, which is new for this model. For the whole Y series has this, not just the Pro. Here on the lower models, that'd be a USB port. On this model, that's the IR sensor for the gesture controls, and we'll go over those in a bit. Then your hidden reset button or recessed reset button, toothpick or something like that is ideal for resetting it. You shouldn't have to do that very often. These are pretty reliable, stable units, and just a normal reboot if you need to change anything usually does the job. I think mine froze up once, and that wasn't its fault. I think it was the software I was using. Physical buttons, nice and clicky. There's the power and mute, volume up, volume down. Now, these are reversed, and I hope in future models they go with a more European Western style of plus being on the left, or minus being on the left, and up being on the right. They do have the forward and back track buttons oriented correctly, and then a home button. And you can see there's a very good a really good tactile feedback on these buttons. These are going to be actually easy to use while operating the car. Side of the panel, standard, you know, mounting points for various bracketry. Um, Top of the unit, be careful of the screen here, has your wiring diagrams. That's all pretty durable. It's not going to scrape off easy while installing in the car unless you get really tight clearances. Back of the unit, we have a port for the ATOTO IR control. I'm not sure if this will work with things like the pack audio, steering wheel control, mini plugs. I use a pack audio on my existing A6, but I have it directly wired to the harness, and I'll show you that in a bit. That's for your external microphone, fuse, power and wiring port, your various inputs and outputs, all clearly labeled. There's that extra USB Type A I was telling you about earlier. Your plug for your dual USB, your antenna for FM AM antenna, your GPS antenna, and your Wi-Fi antenna. Now give me a few minutes, and I've got actual ATOTO power supply for this unit, 12-volt DC power supply. Let me pull this over. Oh, never mind. I'll show you in a second. And we're going to wire this up and get it booted. Okay, guys, I've just plugged the unit in. This is its very first boot up. Came on a little faster than I thought, so part of the fact that I missed a little bit. This is the initial first boot up, so this is going to take a little while. I'm going to let this run. I may edit this out or fast forward so you don't have to wait for the whole thing. But immediately I can tell that display is much nicer than the old unit. And the old unit was a really good TFT panel. But this is a definitely higher quality IPS panel. If we move the camera around, you can see the viewing angles are really good. And then over here, there's the ATOTO power supply, 12-volt power supply. Oh, and it booted up. There it is. We're at the home screen. Yeah, this is much better display than the old unit. Now the IPS display is exclusive to the Pro line and not just the gesture control one. Let's see what we got here. Needs app permission for what? Okay, it's trying to record to the DVR, which isn't plugged in yet. Let's go back and do the initial setup here. There we go. Let's go do a real quick about device. I want to see which firmware version's on this. System update. Hit it kind of weird. There we go. 9.4. So this is the newest one. A6 Pro. And I'm going to hook the Wi-Fi up here in a second, guys. Let me put the show on pause, guys, while I get the connectivity and start doing some installation stuff here. Alright, I'm starting to do the Wi-Fi setup, and I'm not going to go through the whole process with you, but one thing I want to point out, I have a dual band 2.4 gigahertz and 5 gigahertz router, Linksys and Linksys 5G. This unit is definitely seeing the 5G router, which is very nice, and you can see I'm in a fairly crowded Wi-Fi area, so being able to go to the 5G is nice. I'm going to go ahead and set that up, and then we'll start doing some more fun stuff. Okay, I've got the Wi-Fi hooked up, and just as soon as it got connectivity, it started doing some updates. This is going to take a while, and like I said, I want to set up my Google account and download a bunch of my commonly used apps, and I'm not going to make you stand or sit around and watch all that. But I have to say, I'm really so far impressed with the speed of the Wi-Fi and the fact that this screen is just gorgeous. One of the things this unit lets you do is change the color of your panel buttons to match your vehicle's interior color. So there's off, there's red, there's green, there's blue, there's yellow. I could point out other obvious colors for you. And of course you got the RGB picker if you want to go through and set your own hue, whatever that may be. I'm going to go with red with my the Pontiac I'm installing it in. That looks best, although white doesn't look bad either. A little bit of blue tint to the white there. Anyway, coming back out of that. Oops. There we go. Auto brightness, just you have this. Yeah. We're going to cut this. Alright, I just want to go over this default screen or default launcher that it uses. As you can see, it's got the FM tuner, a few other basic apps. Torque's already pre-installed, Easy Connect's installed, Quick Pick and File Manager and aux or ATOTO specific programs for pretty much what they say. There's your phone menu. That'll open up Bluetooth, and so you can play your media from that. You can get your contacts. Now I haven't paired a phone to it yet. We'll get to that when I actually get in the car. What is that? Oh, it's the FM radio. Again, this is the full app that would actually come with this. Google Maps, the music player, settings button, and then your normal app tray. As you can see, it's already got Gmail installed. It's got all the Google apps installed, the basic Google apps anyway. Play Music, Play Store, and we're going to go to the Play Store, and it's going to prompt me here in a second for my info. I'm going to shut you off while I set that up, and we'll come back to you. Hey everybody, I'm back with the Google account set up, and I'm going to start installing some of my favorite apps. This is my favorite launcher, Car Web Guru. Just want to give you a quick look at how fast this downloads and installs. I am hooked up to the Wi-Fi via the antenna. My router is about 80 feet away through about 3 walls, so it's pretty good reception. And I'm on the 5G network. Let's just go ahead and install this. As you can see, downloading 16 megabytes is going fairly quick. Boom, boom. It's as fast as my phone. Just on the installation. Usually takes a while, and then it's done. This actually appears to be considerably faster than the A6 to install, the old A6 to install. Looks like there's some improvements in the software for the Pro. Anyway, let me get my stuff set up, and then okay, I've got a few apps installed now. One I'm going to run real quick is Speed Test, just to see what my Wi-Fi speeds are like on my home network, and I got a 100 megabit connection, so this should get pretty close to that. It's running, and actually it's hitting the limit of the Wi-Fi. That's about right for my type of router. I just have an in router, so that's a good speed. Upload speeds are my cable provider's max, which is 10 megabits per second. I'm pretty happy with that. This thing can handle my local Wi-Fi, and anything I get with LTE would be about the same speed. Let's try it again. Pretty consistent. Like I said, that's the speed limit of my router, and it's nothing to do with the speed limit of this unit. This should be able to go a little bit faster. That's still pretty good download speed. Okay, so I got most of my software set up, but now I want to show you the marquee feature of this particular unit, and that's the gesture control. So this is the setup screen. I've got it up on a block now, just so the gesture reader has an up and down. Actually reads in a triangle that kind of, or a cone that comes out like this, so it needs some up and down. When it's mounted in the car, you get plenty of that. So anyway, let's just try volume up. Oops, volume down. Wave, if you'll notice, it says jazz now, country. That's just the way it's set up. You can go through and set up all these. So set up move right. Let's go ahead and turn that on. Well, maybe. Just a second. I'm going to turn that off, turn that back on. Oh, okay. So every one of these gestures can be reprogrammed to a certain subset that's available. So the wave for EQ, I'm gonna set that to mute because I don't need to change my EQ that very often. So let's watch the. Oops, sorry, just dropped the camera there. Let's watch the 07 there. Let's turn it up a little bit. It's 11, 12, 14. Okay, and now let's wave. Just muted it, unmuted it, muted it, unmuted it. That's pretty cool. Let's go Turn that on. Move down to track up, move up, track back. And let's go back to my music player real quick. Let's start playing. Hang on a second. Hang on a second, guys. Okay, folks, I've got the gesture recognition working now. I'll go through and show you the setup screen in a moment. Right now, I've got it playing through Bluetooth with aptX, and the music is off. If I wave my hand, there we go. It starts playing. This is what I got it mapped to. If I use my hand left or right, volume up, volume down. If I wave down, change the brightness. I'll probably remap it to something else, but at least it's working. If I move forward, I'm changing tracks. If I move back, yeah, I have that one mapped up. Move forward, change tracks. Forward, change tracks. That's easy enough to remember. Let's try it with the other hand. Yep, so it works. You kind of got to be in the zone. As for the volume controls, I was using just 2 fingers, but I think it seems to track better when you use your whole hand like a blade like this. Forward. There we go. Down. Down. I might actually map that to move forward. It seems more natural to move forward, and then use this one for something a little less frequently used. But it seems to be fairly responsive. It's going to take a little training on my part, and I think it's going to work better in the car, a little less light, and I'll be in a better position, a little more stable position where I'm not trying to shoot around the camera. But overall, it's pretty damn neat, and I can see myself using this when I don't want to fumble around with the radio controls or even reach for the steering wheel controls. And nothing else that'll impress your friends, and that's what it's all about, right? Okay, folks, I've got the software almost all installed here in the house. Very shortly I'll get out and removing the old A6. I'll bring it in and compare the two, and then install this in the car. Right now I've got Car Web Guru set up. This is one of their screens. You got music information. Right now I'm going through Google Play. Your speedometer. This is fairly accurate when you get a GPS signal. You don't need a data connection. And this tracks right on with speed radars and everything else I've tested with. So you can trust this probably more than your dash speedometer. Clock if you want it. A little customized logo for your vehicle. This lets you choose. And then once again the music player. Gesture controls work outside of ATOTO's apps, so it works just fine. Lower the screen brightness here. We'll start playing. Notice the play pause has changed. Move forward. It's changing tracks. I don't have that many. I'm actually just playing out of a small. Let's go back. Oops, I don't know how to do it. So shuffle all songs. Stop playing a Hoobastank. They're still around. So it should pause it. That should play it. Volume up, volume down. this should change tracks. There you go. I think I set up the gestures wrong. I think it's getting confused. Let's go through real quick. I think I've got... Yeah. Turn that one off. Just move forward for track forward. And go home. First to me. You already know. Life wasted. There we go. It's a little bit of a learning curve, and you gotta get this angle right to where you're sitting. So if I'm actually in the car, it'd be more like that. Now the volume works best of all, and then the play pause seems to be fairly responsive, as is the down gesture. I think I want to map that to track forward. Let's go ahead and do that now. And we'll do this as brightness. Home. All right. Wave down. Wave down. Wave down. Volume up, volume down, wiggle, and then that's the brightness. All right. In theory, anyway, there we go. It's a little tricky on that motion. I'll have to practice that, but the wave down works really well. The wave works okay, and of course the volume control works excellent. That's probably the best, the one you use the most. And this really is handy. If you're like me and your right hand is on the shifter all the time anyway, it's going to be within a few inches of this. It's just a matter of raising it up. It's easier than reaching all the way up the steering wheel or all the way forward to the unit. I think I'm going to like this a lot. And you can turn all these off if you don't want them. But then why did you buy the $40 more expensive one? Because you're paying for the gesture control. The actual Pro model without the gesture control has a USB port here, as I mentioned, and I don't think you're going to use this. That's be the one I'd recommend getting. But this is pretty slick, and I think with a little practice on my part and setting it up the way I want to use it, this is going to work well. But just even able to do this is pretty damn neat. And I can see it being very handy. Now this took me several takes to get this shot, and I'm not sure everything would use this take. It's not a problem with the unit, it's a problem with how I'm positioned. I'm sitting a little lower in the unit, and I've got some overhead lights, bright lights, so I can shoot this video. I think this is all affecting it. When I get in the car, I'll test it some more and take some footage of that. But I wanted to show this before I got it installed. I could just do this all day. And even on screens where the volume control doesn't show up, you can see the little 27, 20, 19, 17. It works in all apps. Let's see. This one's a little touchy. And fast forward is still working too. You can see the album art change there. Anyway, that's pretty cool. Like I said, this is Car Web Guru. I just opened up Google Maps. I don't know how I did that. I must have tapped the icon. Just getting my location. This is coming off of Wi-Fi, but I do have it. I don't want traffic. Center on me. Yep. So there it is. Anyway, I'm going to cut this here and then go do the install. We'll be back. Okay, I'm back. Disregard the noise in the background. It's Florida. We're getting a thunderstorm. On the right is the ATOTO A6Y Pro. On the left is an A6 last year's model. As you can see, there's quite a bit of difference in the faceplate. This one isn't powered on because I don't have an adapter for it. And that's something really important I want to bring up. If you're replacing one of these units with one of these, be sure to use the new wiring harness. The pinout is totally different. You will fry your shit if you just plug the old connector in. Connector fits, and that's a real problem. But it will definitely be pinned different. So to keep that in mind. Something else to keep in mind here is the new unit on the right is considerably smaller, front to back. Obviously side to side and top to bottom is the same. But that gives you a lot more room in your dash to stuff while you're wiring and things like that, or to fit in smaller spaces. So I really like that change. Real quick, like, here's the old back panel. Pardon the noise. There's the new back panel. As you can see, the layout is quite a bit different as well. It's just overall more compact with a better, looks like a better heatsink in general too. Maybe 6 of one, half dozen the other there. The new unit's definitely more compact. I'm going to spend the rest of the day redoing my wiring. I just assumed it was using the same pinouts, but I'm glad I checked before I plugged anything in. But that's not a big deal. That's just a little bit of solder work and I'm ready to go. Anyway, something else I wanted to point out. Oops, pardon the horrible noise. Is look at the depth on the faceplate. This is how the unit sat in the car before, so it was about that far in with this faceplate in front of it. This one's going to sit in quite a bit further, so that may be a problem with the IR sensor. It's definitely not going to look as flush. So I think this one looks a little better in the car. This one's going to work a whole lot better, obviously. You know, with the physical buttons, new display, updated everything. But you know, the old unit's still pretty good, and my brother's going to be really happy with it. I was really happy with it, and probably would have got, you know, years more use out of it the way it was going. But you know, times change, and I'm a gadget junkie. So, but you guys who weren't paying attention before, didn't see my other video. This is the old unit with the touch-only controls. So these are part of the screen. That's all one flush unit. Like I said, it looks good installed. Whereas this one obviously has a little bit of a recession to it, a recessed screen. Let me turn this screen off. A little better comparison there. You can see the difference in how they would look. Now, give me a second here. I'll get our camera mount. Dropped it. I almost ran over my phone. Okay, we had a little camera accident, but here we go. Here's the new unit with the faceplate installed. You get a rough idea how that's going to look. Not as bad as I thought. These buttons are going to be okay. A little tight, but nothing too bad. Side to side fits like a glove. Top to bottom is good. There's no gaps. Doesn't look bad at all. Once it gets in the dash, it's going to look good. Let's try that. The old unit sat about this flush here, but then again, of course, there was no screen indentation, so this is going to be a little bit further back from you than what you may be used to with the old unit. It's pretty amazing, actually. They were actually able to compact this whole unit down. Anyway,